Okay, my friends, we are right back and we are doing more mathematics. Now we are looking at the Basic Education Department, Basic Education, Republic of South Africa, Senior Certificate Examinations, National Senior Certificate Examinations. Mathematics paper 2, written in May, June 2023. Marks 150 and time 3 hours. This question paper This question paper consists of 13 pages and one information sheet. Okay, there are particular instructions that remain extremely important when you write because you're writing tomorrow. The instructions and information, you read the instructions carefully before answering the questions. This question paper consists of 10 questions. Answer all questions in the special answer book provided. Clearly show all calculations, diagrams, graphs, etc., which you have used in determining your answers. Answers only will not necessarily be awarded full marks. You may use an approved scientific calculator, non-programmable and non-graphical, unless stated otherwise. So, if necessary, round off answers to two decimal places. If necessary, round off answers to two decimal places unless stated otherwise. So, this is sort of the general instruction. Two decimal places unless stated otherwise. Diagrams are not necessarily drawn to scale. An information sheet with formulas included at the end of the question paper. Write neatly and legibly. Two decimal places where necessary unless stated otherwise. Okay, I want us to look at statistics right now because it's quite a very interesting and an easy topic. And I understand that most of you find it very straightforward. But there are a couple of things I want us to iron out, in particular, how to do some of the basic calculations using a calculator. Those are the kinds of things I'm going to be just discussing with you. Right, question one, the owner of a small company wishes to establish whether advertising in a regional newspaper is effective. The table below shows the amount spent on advertising and the corresponding sales figures for the last 9 years. Amount spent on advertising in rands, X, sales in rands, Y. Okay, you can see the 21,300, 311,500, and so on. Determine the equation of the least squares regression line for the data. Determine the equation of the least squares regression line. Okay, I know that you possibly can do this, but I'm here to just make sure today we have a small little talk about determining the equation of the least squares regression line for 3 marks, so you don't have to write too much. This is how it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize my screen like this, and I'm going to launch my calculator because normally we use our calculator to do this. Right, so if I launch my calculator like so, right, what we're going to do is we need to look at the following things. The amount spent on advertising X and the sales Y. So to do that, what we do is we can have my calculator reset like that. And first things first, we press the mode button to find the least squares regression line. We press the mode button. After having pressed the mode button, we see comp stat. So we're gonna do stat, okay, statistics. So we do 3. After that, we want to find the regression line. So it is of the form A plus BX. So it's like MX plus C. So we're gonna press 2. And then now the calculator is going to yield X and Y column. So we start with the X column. The first one is 300 equals. The next one is 23,700. The next one is 24,800. Okay, I'm going to check the charts, please. Okay, let me see. All right, thanks, Ayanda. Ayanda is saying, say, please repeat. Okay, let me repeat. I'm going to repeat because Ayanda is asking us to repeat. That's fine. So, because you're going to be writing on these tomorrow and they're going to be asking you these things. So, I'm just saying you can use a calculator, then you don't have to do these like manually. You don't use the formula at the back, the formulas at the back of the question paper. But first things first, I need to have my calculator on math mode. Doesn't matter. But you get your Casio calculator or any other calculator, your Sharp, etc. First things first, if you want to find the equation of the least squares regression, we shall find the mean, the mode, and other things. But the least squares regression line, you need to press the mode first, mode. Then you look, there's comp, there's stat, there's equation, there's table, there's complex, we don't need all the matrices and the vectors. We need stats, stat. Stat is 3. So we press 3 like this. But this one is like 2 rows. So we don't need one variable, but we need a plus bx for the least squares regression line. We need a plus bx, but that is 2. So we're going to press the number 2. Then we have this table here that has like x and y. Obviously, it looks vertical on the calculator, but yeah, it's the same as this. So we need to punch in all these numbers. Right, so we first punch in 21,300. X is the first one. So this is like X. Then the next one is 23,700. I'm going to send you the video at the end of this discussion. 24,800. 30,540. 24,100. 40,680. 22,400. Put it here now. Now we're doing like 22,400. Next we're doing 35,250. 35,250. Make sure you punch in the correct numbers. Otherwise, you can get wrong answers. Then 29,110. Okay, so we are done with the X. Move my calculator a little bit here. Then we next punch in the Y now. So we go to the Y column. You go to the Y column, we use these arrows. So I'm going to go like this. I can go to the top. Okay, so I look and I can see X is 1, corresponds to the first Y, right? Which is 311,500 equals. The next one is 326,700. The next one is 349,200. The next one is 470, 000. The next one is 316,100. After that is 564, 200. Okay, so we punched in 564, 200. Let me move the calculator so that I can be able to see. After 564, 200, then we have 314, 000. Okay, then we have 487, 300. Then we have 392, 900. Okay, once you get to this point, you can just press on and the data is saved. It's saved on the calculator, so it's there. Then if you want to therefore find the equation of the least squares regression line, you go to shift. You do shift. Right, so after you've done shift, you say shift stat, shift 1. And so it's going to show you these types, some things here. And then you're interested in the regression line. Regression line. So 5 is a regression. So you do 5. Right, to find the regression line, there are a couple of things you need to note that we are looking for the A, the B in particular. So we need to first find A. A is 1. Right, you can see that A is 1730. So we write A down here. What is A? Okay, I'm going to read it. I'm going to bring it up. Don't worry. So A is 1730.22. 1730.22. That is A. Right, so you're going to write 1730. 1730.22. That is A. The next thing we want is also the B. Go to the calculator. All the data is saved. So we want B. We press on. Then we want B now. We're going to do shift 1, which is shift stat. Stat is the above the 1 button. So we are doing the regression line. So we do 5 because 5 is a regression. Then we want B. B is 2 equals. Yeah, we can see that B is 13.96. B is exactly 13.96. We check again. Right, when you've seen that B is 13.96, then what is the least squares regression line? Right, after we got A and B, we're done. We can maximize our screen like this. We have got already the A and the B. So after we've got the A and the B, the least squares regression line that the examiner wants is Y hat. And the Y hat is actually A plus BX. It's A plus BX. So we have Y hat. What is A? A is 1730.22. B is 13.96. X. And this is the answer. And this is the answer. So if it is this, they said the equation of the least squares regression line, and that is the equation. So the equation of the least squares regression line, if I'm to write it here, is Y hat, which is 1730.22 plus 13.96 X. Right. After we've got this, we continue right now to predict the sales for a year in which the company will spend 28,500 on advertising. If the company spends like 28,500 on advertising, what do we do with this? What we do with this is that Y hat. Y hat is actually 1730. Plus 13.96. And then now we're going to have 1730.22 plus 13.96. 13.96. We multiply that by the X. Remember, they will spend these on advertising. So the amount spent on advertising is X. So we put X here, which is 28,500. And then we compute this. We can take that to actually be the sales. We can predict the sales. So the sales become 399,590. 399,590.22. So in other words, this is the estimated amount in rands of the sales. Y hat is this. Right. So next, write down now the correlation coefficient. 1 mark. Write down the coefficient. So now for the correlation coefficient, we do not have to fill the page calculating that. There's a formula you can use at the back of the paper, of the question paper, but you can just do it on the calculator. Let us do the correlation coefficient. You can see how it's done. So I'm going to launch the calculator again. Right, the calculator already has the data. I did not delete anything. The data that we saved is still there on the calculator, but we want the correlation coefficient, so we can go and do on. Shift stat. Okay, we're still busy with the regression. So regression is 5, sum is 3, type, 2 data, 4 variance, 6 is the min max. So here we're doing the correlation coefficient that pertains the regression line. So which means we're gonna do regression line 5. Right, the correlation coefficient is R, and R is 3. So we're gonna press the number 3 on the calculator. 3 equals. Right, we can see that the correlation coefficient is required is actually R equals 0.98002. R equals 0.98002. So R equals 0.98002. So that is sort of the correlation coefficient that is required. They said we must write it down, so we have written it down there. So, I mean, one can say the correlation coefficient is approximately 0.98. The examiner at the beginning said to 2 decimal places. So yeah, we can round off these to 2 decimal places, but that is an approximate value of the correlation coefficient in statistics. Question 1 of the exam. Right, describe the association between the amounts. Right, we're right back right now, and we are looking at this question where the examiner says, now you need to describe the association between the amount spent on advertising in the regional newspaper and the sales of this company. Describe the association between the amount spent on advertising. Okay, so you have the amount spent on advertising in the regional newspaper and the sales. You need to describe the association. Let's describe the association there in words. Just 1 mark. So the association is that there is a very strong, they say very strong positive correlation. There's a very strong positive correlation. between the amount spent on advertising and sales. There's a very strong positive correlation between the amount spent on advertising and sales. Okay, why do we say that? Because this is close to 1, 0.98 is close to 1, so it's a very strong positive. It's positive, so a strong positive correlation between the amount spent on advertising and sales. Right, we continue. Now they're speaking about the profit. The profit that the small company made over the same 9 years is given in the table. So here they've shown the profit in rands. Now, what do we then say here? Um, we continue. Okay, we continue. Right. Calculate the mean profit made over the 9 years. So let's calculate. Oh, I understand they have load shedding. I'm so sorry because I lost Ayanda. But it's important, yeah. And I was interested in understanding this a little bit, yeah. Um, so we continue. The profit that the small company made over the 9 years is given in the table below. Here's the profit, 110,750, 107,376, and so on. Calculate the mean profit. Let's find the mean profit, the standard deviation, and so on. We're going to use our calculator to do this. So let's return to the calculator. So I'm going to minimize my screen a little bit. We continue. Right, having minimized the screen, let's launch the calculator again. Here is the calculator. It's a movable calculator. So, but you can see that we have the profit in rands. Let's just do this. Okay, I'm going to go to the mode again because we want to enter this data. And now I'm going to go to the stat 3. After mode, it's stat. It's 3. Right, because this one is just one block, it's one row. We're going to choose only the one variable. One variable. So, okay. So one variable is 1. And then this table is going to allow us to punch in all these figures. So let's start here with this one is 110,750. One zero seven 376. 152,338. 244,480. 144,021. 275. 275. 994. 121. 900. 207. 636. 187. 700. Right, so we have actually entered these figures. Let's just check if we have entered the correct ones, because there can be some mistakes. The first one is 110,750. Is this one? The second one is 107,376. Is that one? The next one is 152,338. Is that one? After that is 244,480. Is that one? 144,021. Is that one? 275,994. It's that. Okay, 275,994. It's that is correct. We entered 121,900. We punched in 207,636. We punched in 187,700. Right, then we need to now calculate just the mean profit over the years. So to calculate the mean, we can use a calculator to save time in the exam. Right, so after this, then we can press on. The data is saved, totally saved. So after this, then you can do shift that. Right, so at this point, we want to calculate a couple of things. So we want to calculate some variance calculation. So 4. And then now we can see mean is X bar. And X bar actually corresponds to the mean. And therefore the mean is number 2, X bar. X with the line on top. Right, so it is actually that one there, 172,466 point quadruple one, etc. But 2 decimal places, we're going to write 172,466.11. So what is the mean? That's what we're going to write. So here we write the mean. So we write X bar is actually equal to 172,466.11. That is the mean profit. X bar 172,466.11. And then we are done with that one. Then the next thing is from the same data, they want us to write down the standard deviation. So it's just 1 mark. You don't need to calculate anything, but need to understand that the mean can also be done using summation. So you can say this plus that, 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 all of them. So if you add all those here, because I've added them up, it is 1, 55, 21, 95 divided by 9. And if you do this here, it is actually exactly 172,466.11. Right, so that is what we get. Then next, you continue to write down the standard deviation for the data. So in other words, the calculator gave us this, but you can also add this and divide by 9 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points. Right, 9 years. So yeah. Then let's write down the standard deviation. Okay, so it's easy to do the standard deviation using a calculator. Right, so you can just press on, the data is saved, the one we punched in. So it's on the calculator. Then we just need the standard deviation. So we do shift 1, which is state on top. Then now we have also, we're looking for the variance calculation. So we actually place the number 4. And then the standard deviation is noted as number 3 here on the calculator with this lowercase sigma x 3. We place the 3 and we press an equal sign. So that is actually 56,950.08941. So that is, so to 2 decimal places, we can write 56,950.09. 2 decimal places, but it's 56950. That's what we write down. So the standard deviation is written normally as sigma. We call this sigma. We have seen that. So it is 56,950.09. So that is the standard deviation. It is exactly this 950.09. That is the standard deviation. Then after we got the standard deviation, then we pretty much are done with the calculations, calculator usage. So we already have 100% in the exam, and therefore we are delighted. The next thing now we need to do is to answer the next question. Determine the number of years in which the company made a profit that was greater than 1 standard deviation above the mean. So which means that now 1 standard deviation above the mean would be X bar plus sigma. So we add 1 standard deviation. So 1 standard deviation is plus 1 times sigma. If it's 2 standard deviations, it's 2 times sigma. So we know X bar the mean because it is a company that was greater than 1 standard deviation. So you include the standard deviation above the mean. So it's above the mean, so you add to the mean. Below the mean, you subtract there, okay? So that is one thing you need to note. You subtract, but above, you actually add. So which means the sigma, now they said 1 standard deviation in the mean. Here's the standard deviation. You put 1 sigma. The mean is X bar, which is this one. So you write down, what is the mean? Is 172,466.11. And then you add to it 1 standard deviation above the mean. So it is 56950.09. If you use a calculator to add these things here, the result we're getting is 229,229,416.20. So this is X bar plus 1 standard deviation above the mean. Determine the number of years in which the company made a profit that was greater than 1 standard deviation from the mean. Greater than 1 standard deviation from the mean is greater than this. Which numbers are greater than these on the table? Which numbers are greater than 229 on the table? This one is less than that, is 100 and something. This one is less than that. Okay, so we continue. Okay. We continue. Right, so Determine the number of years in which the company made a profit that was greater than one standard deviation above the mean. So yeah, number of years. Let's check here. This one is below 229. It's 100 and something. This is 100 and something, 100 and something. Okay, this one is 244. 244 is bigger than 229. So it's 1. This one is less. 275 is bigger than this. So it's the second one. 207 is smaller than this. So it means that if you determine the number of years is only this one and that one. So it means that it is 2 years. It is only 2 years. Right, it's only 2 years because it's only this one and that one that are bigger than 229, 229,416.20 there. So these are the only two that are bigger. So it's 2 years that the company made a profit that was greater than one standard deviation above the mean. Okay. And therefore, it means that you got 12 marks in the exam. So with this kind of writing, it actually tells us that we got actually the 12 marks, question 1, and then we are moving towards question 2. Um, right. We continue. Right, if you look at number 2, question 2 in the exam, more statistics. The ages of the people who attended the music concert was summarized in the table below. So in other words, there are those people who attended the music concert and their ages. Who attended this music concert was summarized in the table below. Right. Okay. So obviously you can see the age is between 5 and 15. Okay. Write down the model class. Write down the model class. We continue. Okay, write down the model class. So at this point, the model class is as follows. The model class is the one that is the highest frequency. And the highest frequency, for example, we can see is 90 because this is 20, 25, and 90 is the biggest of these. So which means that therefore the model class is actually this one here from 35 to 45. How many people attended the music concert? How many people attended the music concert? To find the number of the people here, number of the people, age 5 to 15, excluding 5 are 20 people. So you add this one plus this one plus this one plus that up to 30. You add all of them to find the people who attended the concert. So we continue. So how many people attended the music concert? So you'd have 320 people. 320 people attended the music concert. Okay, if you take the summation of all these, the 20, 25, the 60, the 90, and so on, you get 320 people. Next, on the grid provided in the answer book, draw a cumulative frequency graph or give to represent the above data. On the grid provided in the answer book, draw a cumulative frequency graph or give to represent the data. Okay, I'm going to sketch that one. Use the cumulative frequency graph to determine the median age of the people who attended the music concert, just for 2 marks. Okay, so obviously because that one, I'm just going to do the cumulative here. So to draw an OGIF, you need to have the cumulative frequency. So that you have 20, 45, 105. Okay, so in other words, it's 20 plus 25, then you have 45. Then you add 60, you get 105. Then you add 90, which is 195. Then you add 55 for the cumulative, it becomes 250. Then you add 40, it's 290. Then you add 30, which is 320. Okay, so this sort of gives us the cumulative frequency. It gives us the cumulative frequency. It gives us the cumulative frequency like that. Right, so after this cumulative frequency, then you can draw the OGIF. So I'm gonna have a rough sketch of the OGIF here. Okay, ordinarily you need a graph paper to do it, but yeah. So you're gonna have like a 0, like that. And then you're gonna put here like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. So obviously this here is the OGIF. So, okay, what do we have in the horizontal? We have the age of people. And here you have the cumulative frequency. So if you have, now between, now you start and look at these here. For instance, this is the first class. Okay, the first class, and you can see the lower class limit is 5 and the upper class limit is 15. And so it means a couple of things, that the number of the people here, obviously look at the cumulative, is actually 20. Right, so we're gonna put that one here. You can see that 5 is sort of in the middle here between 0 and 10. And obviously, you can see clearly that 5 is a point where 5 is excluded. Next, after that, there is 15. And now 15 itself is certainly included. So at 15, we have 20. At 15, you have 20. So you come here and you then say at 15. So 15 is like here. You have 20. And you're going to have something like this. Then you look again quickly. You move quickly because you don't have time in the exam. 25 goes with 45. 25, 45. So 25 is between these two. And then it goes with 45. Okay. Okay, that is 25. After 25, you have 35. That goes with 105. 35, 105. Right, so you have 35, it goes with 105. 35 is somewhere here, it goes with 105, and 105 is slightly above 100. Just like so. And then now you have the next one. Okay, we have taken 35, and then we're taking 45 with 195. 195, 45. 45 with 195. So we have 45, which is here, is 195. Approximately 45 there. Next, we have 55 is 250. Right, there's 55, that goes with 250. So you can do this and mark 55 here. And then it's gonna go like this. Right, so then you have, okay, let's just mark, and we saw that 15 was with 20. 15 was with 20, and you saw that 25 was with 45. 25 was with 45. 45. And you saw that 35 was with 105. 35 here was with 105. We continue. And then you have 45 with 195. 45, 195. 45, 195. And then you have 250, 55. Right, we saw that 250 goes with 55 here. Next. You have 65 goes with 290. 65 is somewhere here. It goes with 290. 65 is here. Yes, 65 goes with 290. 290. Next, you have 75 goes with 320. 75 is somewhere here. It goes with 320. 75 goes with 320. 75 goes with 320. Okay, this is sort of the graph. Okay, it's not to scale, but yeah, if you have a graph paper, then normally, yeah, you can draw the cumulative frequency graph. They all give determine the median age of the people who attended the music concert. The median age. Median is at just 50%. So at 50%, what do you have at 50%? Right, we understand that we have up to um right. Let's analyze this at 50%. Right, so at 50%, there are a couple of things now because they're saying you need to use a cumulative frequency graph to determine the median age. So we want to find the median age. So if you look at 50%, which is just about half of the total, 320, which is like 160. Half of 320, which is approximately 160, just about 160. So you're going to cut just above 150, and you draw like this, like so. And then you use your ruler, drop down like this. Okay, so obviously using a graph paper, this is not to scale, but you see that it is actually at the median age. Is equal to 41, just above 40. So it would just be 41 there. Okay. The other formulas that I can give you that you can use to do this, okay, to find the median, the mode, and so on, the grouped data. Right, so that is the end of this stats part. And the next section is the one on analytical geometry, which we did earlier today. Right, so we are continuing to do geometry. Right, so we shall be doing geometry pretty soon.